Hello everyone, my name is Lena KrupinA, and today in the video we will discuss the sanctions that were imposed against Russian sports, who fell under the sanctions, and what are the consequences for athletes from bans. Also, we would talk about the athletes and coaches and how they commented on this situation. Before the start of the video, do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. I remind you that monetization in Russia is disabled, so you can either watch my videos through a VPN. I explained how to do that in the previous video. Otherwise, you can support the development of the channel using the link in the description. After the well-known events in the world, Russia was hit by a wave of sanctions from all over the world, including sports. Some athletes were completely banned from competing at international tournaments, and some were limited differently. All competitions that were supposed to be held in Russia were also withdrawn. So Russian athletes are prohibited from taking part in international competitions in football, hockey, volleyball, basketball, athletics, weightlifting, rugby, modern pentathlon, biathlon, skiing, figure skating, ice skating, short track, bobsleigh and skeleton, luge, curling, sailing, badminton, rowing, triathlon, baseball, table tennis, wrestling, shooting, rock climbing, golf, equestrian sports, surfing, handball, field hockey, Paralympics, boxing, armature, MMA, motorcycling, taekwondo and gymnastics, trampoline, and our native rhythmic gymnastics. However, these restrictions do not apply to individual Russian athletes playing for foreign teams. Athletes in fencing and women in floor hockey voluntarily withdrew from the competitions. In neutral status, without a flag and an anthem, athletes are allowed to compete in swimming, synchronized swimming, diving, water polo, cycling, in individual tournaments in tennis, motorsports, judo, sambo, chess, skateboarding, professional boxing, and esports. As a fact, most athletes were left without international competitions. However, there are still athletes who have the right to compete at international tournaments, although the issue of flights to these countries is still open. So, the head coach of the Russian rhythmic gymnastics team, Irina Viner-Usmanova, said that this is a real iron curtain for athletes, and politics has completely taken over the sport, and you can't argue here. The strangest thing is that all of these measures contradict all the norms of international competitions, and are clearly a discrimination. Irina Viner also added that in rhythmic gymnastics, until restrictions are lifted, Russia will focus on competitions in Russia and will popularize tournaments in the country. That will also involve the younger generation. The assistant of the president of Russia said that Russia intends to file claims against the Olympic Committee from all sports federations, as well as all the material losses that the federations will suffer in connection with the violation of the Olympic Charter. Well, probably the most unpleasant thing in this is that the athletes themselves begin to argue in such background. Ekaterina Galkina, a gymnast from Belarus, wrote a post on her Instagram with an appeal to all athletes, who signed an appeal to the president of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, about the removal of all Russian and Belarusian athletes. So Katya reminded us that Russia and Belarus are one of the leading countries in rhythmic gymnastics and are considered the most strong, and they will prove it with the results. Write in the comments what do you think about the suspension of all athletes and sanctions against them, whether it is the right decision or whether sports, as it is written in the Olympic Charter, should remain out of politics. My opinion is exactly the second. Well, it's even scary to imagine what will happen to sports and athletes now. It's even worse than the pandemic, which has already hit sports and results very hard. After all, everyone was struggling from the pandemic, but now odds are clearly given to the rest of the countries in the new Olympic cycle. I would like to believe that all these problems will be solved soon, and we will again be able to follow the world of gymnastics and develop the sport, and not degrade from the lack of competition. Well, remember all that I love you very, very much, and bye-bye!